it's the next day. I ran out of daylight, and more importantly, I ran out of patience. So it was time to walk away. But I think I got this figured out where it'll fit on there. So that is pretty well done over here. I need to get a cotter pin that's the right size for that. I don't have one. And I'll probably get one to fix this too, because the bent nail isn't the best fastener for something. And I did end up getting, with a little bit of heat, I got these back bearings free. That one was locked up, but I got it greased and got them where they'll turn. So I think for now I'll just leave them. But the next order of business is to take this side loose so we can get to that bearing and go ahead and change it out, and then get our clutch adjusted up where it will disengage. So that's what we'll get started on now. Well, what are the chances that this will come off easy? There we go. Maybe. Of course. Well, I had one bolt, which you can see decided to round itself off, which is why I absolutely love carriage bolts. So, got that out, got the bracket off the side, and got the bearing off, and I see now that our next headache is going to be that we have the splines wore here, and it's not going to let this slide over it. So I'm going to have to take a file and clean up every spline here to be able to get this off. Otherwise, we're just going to be fighting it the whole time and probably end up ruining something. So I'll just get a file and go to it. Okay, we'll hit this with a little cleaner here and see if we can get this pull off of here. Oh, I think we might get it. I'll put a little oil on it now. We put on some brake clean to start with, but we'll try this. There we go. Now you can see down in this heavy frame is where we need to work. So we need to get the chain off. So we'll roll it around until we find the connector link and try to get it broke loose. And then we'll try to get this second half of the clutch off. And I bet you that one's gonna be difficult, but we'll see. There we go. A little stiff. Okay, if you can see it, it's got a spacer ring in between the two halves of the clutch, and it's stuck on the shaft pretty good. So I'm going to try to heat just this ring and see if I can expand it enough that I can pry it out of there. I'm sure it's probably going to send flames up like yesterday, so I better put the camera out of the way. So we'll see what happens. I really didn't want to put a puller on it, but I'm to the point where it's moving, because I could pry it by hand, but I just can't get a good enough pry to get it off of there. So as long as we're not putting too much pressure on the teeth, I think this will be fine. There we go. It's hot right now, so I don't really want to just grab a hold of it, but maybe if I do it real quick, huh? Well, come on. I don't want to go backwards. Just practically by hand. Oh, I see what's happening. I need to get that where it's out of the way, because it's hitting the teeth. So I was hoping that if I loosen that, I could just fold this out of the way, but I can't. So I'm gonna have to take this off. I already got the cotter key out of that rod. It's not really wasted effort because it was way out of adjustment anyway. So when we put it back together, we'll have to make it right. So at least that's all loose now, so I can put it back in theory easy. But we gotta get this gear off, and then there's another one of those spacer collars in front of the bearing. So we'll have to get that off too. Come on. Ouch. Still a little hot. Come on. There we go. So as you can tell, some time has passed. I quit filming this. Probably it's been maybe 2 days ago now. And this thing is just getting more frustrating by the minute. So I needed a little bit without worrying about the camera to actually make some progress on it. So I'll show you what I've done so far. I got all this put back together, all new bearings in both the back one and this one on the front. I got a new chain put in there. If you can see that or not, probably not. There you go. And so that's in there, probably about 40 bucks worth of chain. And I couldn't leave this all rusty and crusty as I scraped it down to bare metal, so I went ahead and painted the area I was working on. And anyway, got that done, got the linkage adjusted right so the clutch shuts on and off, and then that led to I wanted to try to run it with the PTO, and of course the power takeoff shaft was stuck up here, so I got that freed up. We're at telescopes now. And this chain, as you remember, was broken. That was the first thing that broke. So I got it replaced. I had some 2050 on hand and made a new chain for that. And so I can let you see it run now, at least that bottom beater. I don't have the chains on the other side yet. I really wanted to soak them maybe in a bucket of oil or something and then put them back on. But I've got everything pinned up the way it's supposed to be. So all I gotta do is slap the chains on, and all three of the things should run on the back. But we'll start it up now and at least watch the back one here spin and check out the clutch action and admire this very frustrating project. So another thing that I got done was this frame was pulled away from here. It was the bolts were broke off. They actually, like, the heads rotted most of the way off, and it pulled through the piece of angle iron right here. So I ended up getting that pulled back straight, got a bolt in there, and got it where the side's not quite as bowed out. So that is an improvement. I wasn't sure how bad it was gonna go, but when we're finally done with this project, I'm gonna have to cut a new tapered filler strip to go back there. This one's broke off and it's full of trash behind there, so that's another thing that will need attention. We can see our shaft spinning along the side, going into our gearbox and turning our bottom beater, and it runs pretty smooth, so that's nice. Now we'll try out the clutch. You pull this down and put it in the lower notch, and that declutches the beater. And if you want to run it, you put it back up in the top notch. Runs the beater. I even got a little bit of floor chain action on it the other day when I ran it. But as we looked at in that earlier in the video, it's got a farmer fix and the spring setup isn't correct. But if I put it in, there it is moving. So you can see it go. Probably shouldn't have the piece of wire go through it, but kind of a neat setup. It just ratchets on this wheel, and then when you want to declutch it, it moves a flat plate over that so that it doesn't move. But it is moving. I'm going to end up taking this floor chain out though, because well, I'll show you. We go over to this side. Every time I look at this thing, there's more stuff that's wrong, so I'm about sick of looking at it. But anyway, down here, it definitely needs a bushing in there or something. That's not right. That's the shaft that the lower set of sprockets rides on. So we're gonna need to give that some love. And I'm thinking that, well, like that chain link's pretty stiff. I don't know what's gonna happen when it goes around, but I guess we're about to find out, because it's about there. Hopefully it'll straighten itself out. I also, looking at the front thing, somebody's replaced this shaft with a piece of galvanized pipe, and it's bent, so that's gonna have to have some attention. So, like I said, every time you look at it, just more and more stuff that has been neglected and needs attention. But it's better than it was when I started, so that's a good thing. Okay, our bent link made it around. So if you want to stop the floor chain, you move this lever down, and we'll go back here and look at what it does. But it moves this flat plate over that so that ratchet can't hit the gear. So pretty ingenious setup to get it to move. I can see though some things that are not right with this. Like I said, this little flipper here is supposed to be on top to hold it from going back, you know. It's supposed to work like a ratchet. So that all needs to come off and get put back the right way. So that's a project for another time as we continue this adventure. But like I said, it is running now, and that's more than it was doing to start with. So we're on the downhill slide, I hope, because it was getting pretty frustrating that every time I took a look at it, something else was wrong. So it does stand the hope of actually being a spreader again one day. Remember, if you like Oliver and White videos, keep hitting that thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you get notifications whenever a new video comes out. That really helps me out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.